There are some stories out there right now, primarily in the international community, that are being hidden from North Americans. And when you go do some research and you look into these and you dovetail them with what's being reported here domestically regarding the banks, the timetable for the US dollar is even shorter than many have predicted. What if I told you a day is coming where even the dollars you hold in your hand won't be accepted anywhere, and even further, it might be illegal for you to even have them? That's going to be the case. A lot of people have stockpiled and stashed cash for years, and some of those bills are very, very old. You'll have to turn those bills in because they're not going to be good anymore. And if you're caught in possession of them, it will be as if you're caught with counterfeit money. Now, it's not all bad news today for sure. Would like to give a big, huge shout out to Jennifer LaFontaine, Jennifer Veterans for Truth. Brand new video. She has gotten a reprieve from YouTube and she is rebuilding her channel, trying to get it remonetized. Today she did a video making butter. Basically, a very simple video. Go over there, give her a view, give her a like, share, subscribe. She's really, really good in the kitchen over here on the right. You can see she got a loaf of bread that she baked. She's done videos on all sorts of topics. So if you want to find that video, it's right here on her page, Jennifer La space Fontaine, Fontaine, or at Jennifer Veterans for Truth. Homemade butter in 5 minutes, mason jar, and whipping cream. But that's not all she has on her channel. All sorts of other really, really great stuff going back many, many years. I think, 605 videos. She's been around a long time. So just wanted to give her a shout out. Great to see brand new content from her. So once again, homemade butter in 5 minutes, mason jar, and whipping cream. That's the one you want to look for. I'll go ahead and throw a link down in the description. I also want to be diligent. And I always want to remember those who have supported this channel for so long. Thank you. Very, very much. I appreciate it. We started way back in 2016. I can't believe this year, this coming October, it's going to be 7 years. It's just absolutely amazing to me that it's been that long. But those of you who have stepped up over at the Patreon channel, you guys are making a huge, huge difference. Now, over there, we don't put out videos as often, but the videos over there are longer. They are more detailed. And they are gloves off. Some have said, Florida Maquis, I think, I'd like to stick with your Antarctica stuff or your Venezuela stuff. The stuff you're talking about over there, that's a little bit too much truth for me. I can't really handle the truth in those stark terms. And that's fine. Money is fully refundable. First 90 days. And in 90 days, you can watch a lot of videos. You really can. And there's a lot over there. Well over 100 for sure. So would love to have you. Can partner with Vimeo and do this. It's at the lowest allowable level. Would love to have you. But without any further delay, there might be a day coming, guys. I'm telling you right now, based on what I'm reading, that if your dollars, your ones, your fives, tens, 20s, 50s, hundreds, if they're too old, you're just going to have to burn them. Because not only will they not be accepted anywhere, it will be as if you're trying to pass counterfeit currency. This is what's starting to happen overseas. A lot of people don't realize that going all the way back to 2014, the Russians had made provision for Western sanctions, and they had begun hoarding huge amounts of actual, not digital dollars, physical currency, massive amounts of it. And a lot of it started getting passed around to other countries for different things. And a lot of other countries don't have the ability, the people in those countries, because they use their currencies as well. If you do a really, really good fake of a currency that you're not used to having in your hand and using, you won't really know it from the real deal. For example, if we were to, get the paper money from South America and I were to hand it to a random North American, I don't think they could tell the difference between a real one and a fake one because they haven't had the experience. And this is what's happening now. A lot of countries are banning the use of old U.S. currency, even though here it would be perfectly fine. They're saying, look, we can't tell it from the counterfeits. And they're giving much less exchange rates. And this is not happening in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's happening in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And you see, that's the real key. A lot of, people would look at this and know the difference between a card and cash. A cash, pardon me, a dollar bill, a piece of cash, US cash, carries value to whoever has it in their hand. Anybody who has it, it has value to. But cards, very, very different. They're only good for that one person. I think what's coming is single-use currency, or some system where everything you pay for will be done as a credit transaction, and there'll be one giant every 30 days or so debit transaction. It'll be as if everybody has a credit card, and everything you need that month goes on that credit card. But at the end of the month, that bill comes due, and however you earn your money, that money gets put in a bank account, and then all of those transactions, all those credit transactions, get covered by that one debit transaction. And then whatever's left goes back to the bank or to some place. Basically, what that means is you're going to have to use everything you have every month, is what I'm getting at. You're going to have to use everything you have every month. Everything's going to be tracked that way. See, this is just one part of it. Brazil and China signed pact to abandon dollar. That's all good and fine, but they're still, you see, Brazil and China are still accepting US dollars and using US dollars. Just because they're using their own currencies to trade back and forth doesn't mean they don't accept US dollars. In fact, if they would just do this and continue ad on infinitum into the future to accept US dollars, that would actually be good for the dollar. Meaning all we would have to do is just adjust the exchange rate to Brazil's currency and to China's currency to make up the difference. Let them trade in the real and the renminbi. As long as they still accept the dollar for goods and services, that actually kind of gives us an edge. It's when they stop accepting the US dollar for anything, meaning they're going to force the United States to change their dollars into reals, change their dollars into renminbis. That's when things are going to get ugly, and those articles are out there. Let me see if I can find it here. Breaking: any US dollar note below year 2021 will not be acceptable from January 2023, says US government. 5 reasons why your US dollar bill will be rejected. Banks, money changers refuse to accept old design US dollar notes. BEP confirms 2026 date for $10 note. You ready for this? With tactile features. They're going to start printing them in 3D. See, this is going to really mess with a lot of people. Because they've said for so long, well, I've been packing away the cash, and I've got a huge stash of cash, and I'm just going to use cash. Just the possession of it alone is going to be a risk and might be a crime. You might go down the road, somebody you've known for years and years and years. Maybe they bake bread, or, maybe they a butcher or somebody else, and, you've got a big handful of these old bills, and they say, look, I would love to, transact with you for whatever I have that you need. But right now, what you're doing is, if I get caught doing it, I'm a felon. It's not even about the value of the money. If they catch me with this money or using this money, I have to be able to pass it on to someone else, don't I? I mean, isn't that the unwritten rule that when you go give your money to someone else, the only reason they take it is because they know they can pass it on to someone else? For a fact, for value. If it's a butcher, he's going to go down to the bread maker and take that money you gave him, take out his costs of being a butcher, and whatever profit he has, he's going to go buy bread with. That bread maker, going to go to the local pharmacy, maybe get that, little tincture of herbs to help with that condition or whatever. And then the same thing with the pharmacist. You keep going down the road. Well, if all somebody's got to do is just find you in possession of this stuff, or you give it to the wrong person, the entire chain falls apart. So, I mean, that's That's a tough thing to ask people. It may come down to just literally straight up barter trade. That's why this video is so prescient. If somebody can just make butter and it's like, look, I've got a couple jars of butter. Do you have a loaf of bread? Do you have, maybe a half a pound of ham? I can do a couple hours worth of ironing, wash some clothes, mow a lawn, paint a house, watch some kids. All these different things might literally not have any currency, might not be able to have any currency. It's just going to be straight up people taking care of people. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what, learning how to do something like this, I tell you what, in a survival situation, I can tell you there were a lot of times in the military, a lot of times that I would have loved to have had some fresh butter. I mean, I know that sounds like a very simple little thing, but I'm just kind of clicking through the video here, just showing the process with the fresh bread. That would have been such a blessing. And I know a lot of guys out there in the military, same way. That would have just absolutely made your day. So, that it's this easy, I had no idea, to be very honest. And she goes through all the different stages, too, of when you're shaking it, it apparently solidifies up and it feels like it's just one giant glob, and then it kind of releases. And I'm sure there's folks out there that know a lot more about it than I do, so I will leave it to them. But I think this is a very timely video, to be honest, because sometimes I think it's going to boil down to just the simplest things. So once again, well done, Jennifer, Veterans for Truth. Super video. Not a very long video, but something you can definitely use. Some people have thought this would be a curse. Maybe it'll be a blessing. Who knows? I will leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Join us at Patreon if you can. Sure appreciate it. $1 US, for at least for now, for what it's worth. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.